kila o mauila le kalokila ni kua hirina ni la o hale a kala kila kila o mauila le kalokila ni kua hirina ni la o hale a kala Ohuahula le ka ilina kua ilina nila ohu ka ala Ohuahula le ka ilina kua ilina nila ohu ka ala Ola ka oeila le ka moki hana kua irina dila Wale ale Kalana ka oeila le ka moki hana kua irina dila Oe ale ale Aina ia mai ana ka puana nā mō kueha o ka pakipika Aina ia mai ana ka puana nā mō kueha o ka pakipika Hana vale e ka ua o hana le ke nia e nei ina pali e hopili e nei ka lau ai e ipo o heno nei I ka pōni ka hau ne mai no a ke kai Kaulana o hana le Kaulana mai Kaua o hana le Kini ia e nei Ina pali He hopili Ia me kalau ai Me po he no nei I ka poli Ake kai e ala e mai a
Testing, testing.
e hoi mai no
Test, test. Okay, we're on.
Testing, testing. How does it sound?
Good morning,
How
everyone.
does that sound?
Morning.
It's almost 10 o'clock.
Yeah, test. Good, good, good. Up
Happy
there.
children needs to get in their seats, please, so we can start on time.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for listening. The happy children are in their seats now. Good morning. Aloha. Aloha. That was weak. Come on, guys. Aloha. That's better. You know the difference in the energy? Your guys are awake now. My name is Leah. I'm your facilitator this morning. And isn't it delightful to be here on this gorgeous day? We are so blessed. It is. It is. It is so. So the first thing traditionally that we do here at New Thought Center is we have a reading, and Lynn from Science of Mind magazine, and Lynn is going to help us out this morning with that reading. So come on up.
Aloha. The greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it. We live in a sea of pure spirit. We are immersed in an infinite good. That's from the Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes. The Columbia Blue Carbon Project and the Blue Nature Alliance remind us of the ocean's critical role in climate regulation. How can we deepen our connection to these waters and protect their vast biodiversity? Oceans cover more than 70% of our planet, yet their mysteries and contributions often go unnoticed. Projects like the Columbia Blue Carbon Project and Initiative emphasize how coastal ecosystems, mangroves, seagrasses, and marshlands capture and store carbon. These underwater forests are our allies in the fight against climate change. Blue Nature Alliance works in partnership with other organizations to accelerate that pace, scale, and effectiveness of large-scale ocean conservation projects. Their work focuses on the significant, pervasive threats to our oceans, such as damaging fishing practices, habitat destruction, and, of course, pollution. Their underlying premise is that climate change alters marine ecosystems in ways not yet fully understood. Today, join them and us in honoring the oceans by reducing single-use plastics, supporting marine conservation, or simply marveling at the beauty of an underwater world we are just beginning to understand. The water that connects continents connects us to something greater than ourselves. And the lesson for today is, I'll read it first and then I'll break it down so that you can repeat. I am connected to the oceans and inspired to protect their life-giving power. I am connected to the oceans and inspired to protect their life-giving power.
Thank you, Lynn. I specifically chose that reading this morning because my dear friend Vyana is here, and, well, we're both mermaids. So the ocean obviously is essential on our planet. I think it's 70% of the world is ocean. That's living space. Okay, 90% of the living space. Yeah, 90. Yeah, I'll try to pronounce that better. Well, good morning. I took off my shoes because the next thing we get to do is go inside. So up to you all, of course, but I find that when I go inside, if I'm connected to the earth and I don't have crossed legs or crossed arms, body language allows for a little something more. So we love to do an opening prayer or a meditation. And I think it just feels like time to go inside quietly into a meditation. And I'm going to make a gentle suggestion, and you can go along with me if you'd like to, if it feels right to you. If you would, place your right hand on your heart and your left hand on your belly. And when you go inside, we're all going to go inside and take 3 deep breaths. I'm going to suggest, from something I recently learned, is to say to yourself, use your own name, of course, I, in my case, Leah, am here. Say your name, am here. I, say your name, yeah, love myself fully. I, say your name, accept what is right now. I, say your name, see the beauty everywhere. I, say your name, choose to live consciously with love. Now take 3 really deep cleansing breaths. And go inside and digest what you just said to yourself. I'll give you a few minutes and then we're going to do something else. My suggestion next is say your name again. I, say your name. Choose to see the beauty, grace, and love in others. I, Leah, choose to love others with no exceptions. Let that digest. Because we are gathered here in community, the next thing I'd like us to do is to send all of that acceptance, love, gratitude, compassion, kindness, and all the bright and beautiful that we are to all of our members here on the lanai and to those on live stream. Now let's send all of that goodness out to the Hawaiian Islands. The world is a lovely place amidst the chaos and the ugliness that's happening. If we choose, when we choose, we can be the bright lights that make a difference. Gandhi said wisely, be the change you want to see in the world. Let's send our bright lights out and circumnavigate the globe. Thank you for participating in that. We can come back to the room. And what I've found for myself, just as a suggestion, is we can do something like that anytime we like, right? When we just center ourselves and take 2 minutes, even in a parking lot in your car when you have 5 minutes to whatever you're doing. We can send our love and be the love and be the change that this world needs. So I know we're all capable of that. So thank you for joining in. Vyboda, would you love to honor us with another gorgeous song? I know you would. Thank you so much. This is Vyboda, one of my dear friends, and all of our friends.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Here we are. So, we got one. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Nothing you can do that can't be done. Nothing you can sing that can't be sung. Nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. Nothing you can make that can't be made. No one you can save that can't be saved. Nothing you can do, but you can learn how to be you in time. It's easy. All you need is love. That's right. All you need is love. Woo-hoo. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. Nothing you can know that can be known. Nothing you can see that can't be shown. Nothing you can be, nowhere you can be that isn't where you're meant to be. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. All you need is love. Everybody. All you need is love. That's right. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. Love is all you need. Love is all you need. Yee-hee. Love is all you need. Yeah, yeah. Love is all you need. That's right. That's all. How easy.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Yeah, there's nothing like love. It's the best stuff on the in the universe. Don't know if we have any new people here. If we have any new people that have never been here before. Oh, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. We welcome you, of course, and as you'll find if you come back, this is a very special community of people. I know for myself, I've been on the island, 22 months now, almost 2 years, and I have more friends because of this community than I have fingers and toes. I need more toes nor fingers, maybe I'll become a duck, I don't know. No, I'd rather be a mermaid. Yeah, they don't have toes, they have scales, lots of scales. Anyways, about our center. A lot of you have heard this so many times, but I'm going to try to, just for that one person that doesn't know, and it doesn't hurt to review it, right? Our mission here at the center is to provide a sanctuary of aloha for the nourishment, development, and evolution of each individual's unique spiritual path, because we are all unique. Our history is that this group evolved from the Kona Community Church of Religious Science, founded in 1971. And they've held Sunday services continuously from that time, previously in Keauhou, and since 1999 in Kealakekua. Thanks to the pandemic of 20 and 21, we have developed the technical capacity to hold our services online also. So we have live stream. So in case you're wondering why we do this instead of clapping, it disturbs the whole sound system when we are too loud, but we can still be loud. I think it's fun. So that's a little bit about our history. Our connection to the wider world is that we are affiliated with International New Thought Alliance. That's an umbrella organization that brings together groups and individuals who share certain common beliefs and attitudes. Among them, the idea that a new thought embodied in consciousness produces a new condition. That's by Judge Thomas Troward. INTA also includes many unity and religious science churches and centers for spiritual living. And as our beautiful logos created by Morty Breyer illustrates, we welcome everybody, because we are all, after all, we are one. We're just little pieces of one. All right. Let's see. We have a question this morning, Vyana. Would you like to give a little prelude?
Yes. So we usually ask a question and then we pass around the microphone so everybody can give one-word answers so that we can get to everyone today. And the question is, imagine you're 3,500 years ago in ancient Greece and you're in front of the Oracle of Delphi. And you ask, how can I be more open to the truth? And she gives you a one-word answer.
So what we'll do is just state your first name, please, and your one-word answer. For time, of course. My name is Leah. Intuition.
My name is Kathy. Empathy.
Tana. Listen.
My name is Lynn. Compassion.
My name is Nancy. Heart.
What am I supposed to say?
Your name? And
Diana.
And a one-word answer to what she asked. And a one-word answer.
And a one-word
Say love.
Love. Well done. The Oracle has spoken.
Jean, love.
One. Oh, Karen. One.
She has such a beautiful name. Pomaikai, love.
Oracle, Vivora, breathe.
Charlie, trust.
Terry, gratitude.
Jamie, love.
Sylvie, feel.
Jared, I also say listen.
Heather, release.
Martha, empathy.
Lloyd, awareness.
Stephen, trust.
Pasha, listen.
Shayna, intention.
Jan, joy.
Reagan, be open.
Tatum, silence.
Rosalia, unite.
Johnny, intuition.
Cindy, love. Patty, love.
Margie, accept.
Shelba, compassion.
Jeanette, unconditional love.
Condor.
Jatayu, history.
They already did that. I'll say, my name is Vyana, humility.
All those words are so rich, aren't they? Every time somebody said their word, I was really listening. God gave us, I love to remind myself daily, God gave us 2 of these and 1 of these. And if I use them accordingly, I can gain more wisdom and more love. Well, it's time for another beautiful song from that beautiful man over there. Thank you. I say it as it is.
As I gaze into the sunrise over Manana, e ke ana o ke akua pololi, and the canopy of mist over Kaohikaipu sits above the waves that find their destiny. Kaulana o makapu kua iwi ku kila kila ia kaupo. One look and you will find a place like no other kind, a little heaven on earth, makapu. Kalapueo, the wind blows out to sea and finds its way on the slopes of Kaiwi. Nakohola dancing joyfully out on the ocean blue. Keakua made this place for me and you. Kaulana o makapu kua hiwi ku kila kila ia kaupo. One look and you will find a place like no other kind, a little heaven on earth, makapu. Kaulana o makapu kua hiwi ku kila kila ia kaupo. One look and you will find a place like no other kind, a little heaven on earth, makapu. As I gaze into the sunrise over Manana, at ke ana o ke akua pololi, and the canopy of mist over Kaohikaipu sits above the waves that find their destiny. Kaulana o makapu kuaiwi kukila kila ia kaupo. One look and you will find a place like no other kind, a little heaven on earth, Makapu. One look and you will find a place like no other kind, a little heaven on earth, Makapu.
There it is. I'm back on. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Vibota. Another beautiful song. We are so blessed. I'm going to interject just one little quick thing that I thought would be fun today before we do Miracles and Ordinaries, and that is the thought for the day. This is from the Vortex, Getting into the Vortex card deck, Esther and Jerry Hicks. Teachings of Abraham. Some of you, if any of you are familiar, and if you're not, check it out. It's pretty cool. A belief is only a thought I keep thinking. A belief is only a thought that you keep thinking. A belief is only a thought that you continue to think. A belief is only your habit of thought. It's only a practiced thought. A belief is only a thought that you think a lot. So if a belief is only a thought that you keep thinking, and you keep thinking a thought that is in opposition to what you want, then the reason you don't get what you want is because you keep thinking a thought that's in opposition of what you want. Who knew? Wise, right? Isn't that good? That's a good one, huh? Think on that. Okay, it's time for fun now. Miracles and ordinaries. We all have things happen to us each week, sometimes each day. It could be from the past, it could be for somebody else. But we get to share because we all get to share the joy. So who wants to come up first and share a miracle or an ordinary? Microphone is yours.
All right.
Yeah. No, I just want to point out the simple fact of I love the New Thought calls it miracles and ordinaries, because when you think about it, you know, we hear the word infinite and eternal, it just flies off. But when you if you sat down and thought and be still and think about that, you know, this like there's nothing that's not a miracle.
So true. All of life is one big miracle, right? Somebody else?
Hello. I'm called Jeannie Love. So I know some of you got to see me a couple weeks ago talk about India. What you didn't know is I was coming back from being very, very, very ill. And haven't been able to do much since except for keep me and my mate alive, and he got it, but he's getting better also. So gradually I'm getting my strength back, and here I am. And this morning, woke up very, very early, and I was called to go in with our other family. And I went out, and they were way far, and I just sang, "Hey Jude," which is what I sing. And they came all around me. And then they swam away. I thought, if anybody's watching, I didn't break the law. So I just wanted to share how, just so much love and gratitude for me for that. And as I was thinking about sharing it this morning, I was putting my coffee down in the coffee holder and almost ran into this, going up a Napo Road, and almost ran into the ditch and went, "Let's stay humble."
Humility, yes. That's a good one. That's a good one, too.
Kind of ordinary, but New Thought finally has a good, strong internet connection after months of ordeals. And it's half the price of the old one. And we also have a cell phone line. We're just moving up into high tech. It's a miracle.
Woohoo! We should all be screaming for that one. Yahoo! Hallelujah. Okay, time to introduce this gorgeous woman that's sitting across from me. Oh, is there another one? I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
Yesterday, I witnessed and participated in somewhat of a miracle. There were 1,000 people on the road in Kona commenting on the current political situation. It was just amazing to see people just kept coming, and the word went out, and all of a sudden a lot of people just materialized. It was truly a miracle as far as I'm concerned.
Beautiful.
We all do make a difference.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. My name is Brandon. I wrote down some affirmations that I'd like to share with you. Wrote them down this morning. I believe in a conscious, connected way of living, one that honors the soul, the body, and the earth. Life is deeply intuitive, energetic experience. I believe everything has a soul, and I welcome emotions as sacred messengers, and I communicate with nature, ancestors, spirits, guides, and each other from a place of vulnerability and truth. I honor the sacred dance between the masculine and feminine energies, where masculine offers direction and strength, and feminine flows and feeling and intuition. Together they create balance and harmony. I am co-creating a community rooted in these values, a place where we live soul first, love deeply, and walk gently with the earth and each other. Thank you.
Beautiful. If we could encourage you, when you have time, put it in the computer and make some copies and bring it next week. Share with everyone, please. Thank you. That would be lovely to have. All right. Anybody else? I'm not missing a hand up in the air. Okay. So this lovely lady over here means a lot to me personally, and I'm sure she means a lot to a lot of you, because she's been on the island how many years? 9 years. 9 years. This is mermaid Vyana. Vyana is a mystical mermaid, collecting and weaving tales of adventure and mystery from the world. By mapping their global appearances throughout history, we can begin to discover mermaid patterns and symbolism. She dives deep into the mermaid realms to find pearls of wisdom and bring them back, hopeful that humanity will remember its true beauty, insight, and sovereignty. Vyana embodies the archetype of the mermaid in order to break free of the limiting constraints that humanity has taught her about our connection to nature, the divine feminine, and the magic that we all carry. She also offers mythic makeovers to assist those who desire to step more fully into their magical selves. Growing up near the fairy-filled rainforest and the deep cold waters of the Puget Sound near Seattle, Vyana allowed the fresh air of innovation and visionary possibilities to inform her books and art. Moving to the warm waters of Hawaii, in 2016, and swimming with wild dolphins while wearing a mermaid tail through coral reefs has taught her to play again. Her passion to understand the human condition led her to study anthropology, travel extensively, and live abroad in Okinawa, France, India, China, Istanbul, and now Hawaii. For the last 15 years, she has embodied various archetypes of the divine feminine as a temple pillar of the 13 Moon Mystery School. She shares and values her open heart, and I know that personally. She demonstrated mastery of Watsu, a form of aquatic bodywork, is informed of a past lifetime as a bathing priestess in the Oracle of Delphi. She trained in this lifetime by the Emerald Temple in the application of sacred essential oils for full body anointing. Vyana honors her healing lineage. Like all mermaids, she bridges two worlds. As an attorney, she empowers her California clients to write their end-of-death documents, transmitting their wisdom into future, even after they're no longer with us in the physical form. This 25-year death meditation has impacted her approach to life. She also founded the Phoenix Rising Empowerment Project, which uses personal storytelling as its core healing method for those who have experienced sexual harassment or violence. She understands why mermaids often remain hidden and offers transformative justice, an approach as a path to greater freedom. Welcome. Please welcome Vyana.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Oh, I'm so grateful to be here. I am so uplifted by the energy in this room, like these amazing souls that have all gathered with such high frequency hearts. And I'm totally high on this incredibly smelling lei that Patty made. She's our lei priestess here. She's incredible. Thank you. And I'm tempted. I'm actually going to pass it around, Patty, so everybody can take this in because I'm intoxicated at this moment here. Pass that around. Okay. And I want it back. So I came completely prepared to share stories today and also to bring it home, not just to today. You know, I'm telling ancient stories, and they have meaning for today. And bringing them home both personally to each of us and having it apply to us is something we're going to do at the end after we've heard some of these stories. So when you're listening to the stories, listen for how it might impact your life, right? What part of your life is here listening to an ancient story to receive a gift? Because all ancient stories are still around for a reason. They have been a blessing to thousands and thousands and thousands of people for millennia. And one of the things I wanted to start with was the word humility. In Hawaiian, it's ha'a ha'a. And I have the privilege of working with a Hawaiian kumu who taught me that you can look more deeply at everything. And he calls that method makavalu, the 8 eyes. And 8 eyes means to look at everything about 8 levels deep. So listening to the word ha'a ha'a, as humility, I say, oh, it sounds like laughter. I can laugh at myself. That's a good idea, right? That would be humble. That would be humility. And then also going a little deeper for myself, I noticed that in the old days, I used to think that humility was just kind of playing small, and so that I wouldn't make other people feel uncomfortable by how big and shiny I might become at any particular moment if I let enough energy flow. So I've also learned that humility is about stepping more fully into my shiny self and not dimming down my light, and that's a big part of humility. And that's why I love being in this circle of people, because a lot of you are shining very brightly, and I like to be around bright people. Not that we don't get down sometimes and we lift each other up, but I just want to share that what I'm sharing today, even though I came prepared and so forth, I'm listening from a deeper place to what I might share because I'm impulsed to share it. Not like ha'a ha'a wasn't on my list today of things to share about, but it felt like it wanted to be here. So so I'm listening to all of you to also receive or to kind of elicit from me what it is that wants to be spoken today. So we are in kind of a Mobius strip of receiving and giving. And that's one of my favorite things about the Hawaiian culture is there's no word for take. There is only giving and there is receiving. And take would be stealing. So I always honor that when I pick a flower, for example. There's so many beautiful flowers. Or this morning, you'll see in a minute, I'll pass this around. I picked some bay leaf for a particular reason, but I asked its permission first. And that's ha'a as well, the humility to ask a plant if it might be willing to come with me to be shared with you today. So I also want to just stop for a moment. One of my fairy godmother, who's a real person, she just inspires me so much. She gave me a wonderful Hawaiian name, Keo Nani. and it means gatherer of beauty, gatherer of beauty. And I love to gather beauty, and so, all of you came, obviously, right? But this is something I find incredibly beautiful, seashells. I love gluing seashells on everything, and this is my shell phone. When I forget, to go inside and listen to myself, what we're actually hearing in here is not the ocean, it's actually our own heartbeat. It's our own circulatory system reflecting back to us. It's our blood that we're listening to. So we're listening deeply to our own selves. And if we forget to tap in and actually listen, which I heard a lot of you share that today, that is one way to remind me. I just keep this on my desk, and I'm like, oh, I need to stop and listen. And it takes me back into what's real, what's true for me. The other thing I brought, because I hadn't ever used this, I've had this for, 20 years, and another priestess had a grandmother. Oh, thank you. Another priestess had a grandmother in ancient Greece. And when I told her that the only past life I remember, because it's just not me to remember past lives, it just came to me one day, that it was Greece, it was ancient Greece, it was Delphi, and then I would help bathe people and prepare people to see the oracle. And so she took this off of her neck and gave it to me, and she said this was her grandmother's, and her grandmother was from Greece. And so this has both the masculine and the feminine divine beings on each side. I've never worn it. It just keeps looking at me every day, and today felt like the day to bring it. So I'm going to pass this around in case this has any energy for you. Yeah. This is an interactive experience. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Okay, so I'm going to start off with our story. And I'm going to take us all the way back, thousands and thousands of years ago. Think about how old America is, like 200 years or something. And we're talking about going back about 3,500 years to ancient Greece. And we're on a mountain, and the mountain is Mount Parnassus. And we're right on the Gulf of Corinth. So we're looking out from the mountain at this beautiful gulf, in the Mediterranean Sea. Beautiful weather. There's some mist coming in. There's forests. There's no snow. It's not cold. This is Greece. So it's forested. It's quiet. And on this beautiful mountain is a spring. There's always a spring, because water is always related to wisdom and to remembrance and to knowing. And of course, we are all 70% water, and so we relate to water. And sometimes when we get into the spring, we do it ritually, we do it to bathe, we do it for cleansing, and clarity comes from springs. Healing comes from springs. Springs are, a metaphor for our spiritual knowing. That water flow, that energetic flow that comes up from the earth and out us like a fountain. That's the energetic field that we all carry. We're like a fountain. And so on this beautiful mountain, Mount Parnassus, they used to worship the goddess for thousands of years, and her name was Gaia, and she was the Mother Earth, and she was the one who brought forth all their food. And she was so abundant and green and delightful that everyone loved her so much that they worshipped her. Maybe 30,000 years before Apollo even found this place. And the reason that they would go there all the time was not just for the spring, but because in ancient times, there were oracles there. There were women who trained themselves not just to listen for divine truth to come through them, but they would speak it. So if you were to ask them a question, they would be able to give you an answer in ways that they weren't accustomed to. And that was accepted as divine truth, that this was coming through a very pure channel, and that they could go and have questions about healing, questions about community, questions about decisions that they were going to be making in the future. Even kings would come before they would go into battle and would ask the oracles, tell me, should I go into this battle? Who will win? Who will lose? So the oracle there became incredibly famous, and it was a tribe of women who would take care of each other and train themselves to do this work. And there were 3 particular nymphs that lived on the hill, under a little ridge on Mount Parnassus, and they were called the bee nymphs, and they're now called the Melissa. And the Melissa, these particular 3 had wings, and they would flight about, and they would eat honeycomb everywhere they went, honey, honey, honey. And they were so into honey that they were just covered in honey pollen all the time. So it looked like they had little white snow all over them all the time. And they were just happy beings who were part of this oracular practice. They knew how to prophesy, and they knew about ritual cleansing because they're there at the spring. So they made this particularly famous because how often do you see women flying around with wings? So their particular goddess that they loved the most was the bee queen. She was the mother bee long before Zeus ever came into the picture in ancient Greece. And there were three women that were known this way. One was named Melena, one Cleodora, and one Daphne. And we're about to hear a little more about Daphne. She was a beautiful nymph. And so, before Zeus's son Apollo actually descended there in 1400 BC, the oracles were famous already, and the oracles were guarded by a great python, or she may have been a dragon, or she may have been Delphine, the Dracana. That's a female dragon with a torso and a head of a woman. And that was their guardian, and that's who protected them on this beautiful mountain. Because women need protecting, right? This is a group of women. They're not warriors. So having a dragon around, a female dragon no less, can be very helpful, and that was their protector. She later became, well, her name was Delphine, and this whole area was named after her, Delphi. And then Apollo came. Now, Apollo is the son of Zeus, and he is a sun god. He's very shiny, he's very handsome, and he always gets his way. So Apollo descends there and says, ooh, you know how to prophesy. You know how to give oracles. This is amazing. This is powerful. I want to know how to do this. So the three Melissa taught him, how do you prophesy? And they trained him so that he too could have this gift of prophecy and oracular vision. And after he learned from them, he fell infatuated, let's say, with Daphne. Daphne was a beautiful nymph, and he wanted to be with her. And he pursued her, and she continued to reject him and reject him. She wanted nothing to do with him. But Apollo wasn't going to have a no for an answer, so he stalked her. And it was so annoying and harassing that Daphne finally went to her father, who also was Zeus. Daphne was a half-sister with Apollo. And she went to her father and said, oh, Zeus, please, this is just the most annoying. I cannot handle this anymore. My life is miserable. Please turn me into something ugly. Turn me into something that he's not going to like. I don't want Apollo to be attracted to me anymore. This is misery. Anything. Just turn me into something. Zeus is sad about this because he loves his daughter. It's like, okay, if that's what you want. So he turns her into a bay laurel tree. And the bay laurel bush is what I brought for you today. So let me pass this around. There's some that came in a little McCormick bottle that's safe to eat. And these bigger ones came from my garden, and they're just dried. But there's enough for everybody if you would like to take a piece. And you can hold it, you can eat them, whatever you want to do. And you'll get to know a little bit about bay laurel by holding her and experiencing her frequency for yourself. Now, bay laurel, after she became a bush, still was so intoxicating to Apollo that he couldn't pull himself away from her. So he would play her music under her bush, and he would adorn his head with her leaves, and he would create crowns for other people, and he would just adore this bush. And everything became about the bay laurel, and she became the guardian of the maidens. So this tree now represents the oracle and the guardian of the maidens. And sometimes they would ask the tree a question, and the tree would rustle just so to give them an answer for those who could listen. So then after a while, she became, the bay laurel became the actual, not just symbol, but tool of the priestesses there. They would use bay laurel to access these oracular states. They would burn it and breathe it. They would chew on it. They would adorn themselves with bay laurel. So bay laurel has some clarity qualities, and if you've ever had the essential oil of bay laurel, it's clear. I'll never forget the moment someone handed me a bay laurel bottle, and it answered a question I had never asked. And the answer was, no, you're not going to have children in this lifetime. And I was shocked to suddenly get an answer like that when I hadn't even asked a question. I had no idea bay laurel was that powerful. So if you're looking for answers from your own inner oracle, feel free to call upon Bay Laurel as an ally. So let's get back to what happened then. The transformation didn't deter Apollo, but then in 776 BC, Apollo decided to take over the entire mountain and name the temple after himself. Since he now could prophesy, it was now called the Temple of Apollo, and he had to kill the dragon, the Dracona. And so he did. He slayed the dragon, aka the Pythia. And the oracle then became known as the Pythia because when Zeus found out that his son had slayed Gaia's child, this Dracona that had, protected all of these priestesses for 1,000 years, he had to be punished. He had done really wrong. So he was exiled for about 8 or 9 years, and then he came back to do restitution, which was to supervise the Pythia Games, which are like the Olympic Games at the time, because he was really good and fast and strong and all that stuff. So he was the perfect guy to start the Pythia Games, and that's what he would give back to Delphi since he had taken their protector, their dragon. But he still continued to call it the Temple of Apollo, and now the priestesses were channeling Apollo's oracle, not Gaia. So it went from a feminine deity to a masculine deity at that moment. And it continued for another 1,000 years. And actually, I don't really know if they were channeling Gaia, because who would know? Or if they were channeling Apollo. But these priestesses were trained for lifetimes to do this work. And it wasn't easy. They would just do it 1 day a month is when they would make themselves available. And in the meantime, this is the part of the past life that I do remember. In the meantime, the pilgrims would come, people from all over the world, all the way from India and places like that, kings, and they would bring so much entourage with them. And everyone was preparing a question for the oracle. And in order to prepare to see the oracle somewhere in that month, they would be bathed, they would be ritually cleansed, they would fast, they would meet with priestesses who were trained to tell them, how is your question coming? Have you articulated it? Have you found an answer for it? What's real with your question? Let's prepare you for the meeting you're about to have with the oracle. And after about a week, in my recollection, when people had fasted and cleansed and so forth, they became clear, and they knew the answer to their question. And they didn't need to ask that question anymore. And then the next day, they came up with a new question. And then the next day, they knew the answer to that question. And while they were waiting to see the oracle, they discovered that they actually, when they got clear, could get the answers themselves. And so in the end, for those who did have time to do that process, they usually didn't need to ask any more questions of the oracle, but they got all their answers. And that was a very empowering process for them, and it changed when Apollo stepped in and when in the medieval times, let me go back. So at some point, there was a king, and the king came and asked, first he tested the oracle to make sure she was for real, and he said, what was I doing 3 days ago? And she says, well, you were preparing soup from a tortoise and a lamb in a bronze cauldron. And he said, I guess you're for real. That's the real answer. Okay. So should I go to war with Persia? Who's going to win if I go to war with Persia? And she said, a great army will fall. A great army will fall was her answer. Well, he heard he was going to win. He made it mean that it wasn't his army that was going to fall, that it was the Persian army that was going to fall, because that's the answer he wanted to hear. And so he went to war, and he lost. And they became the slaves of Persia for some time. Well, after that occurred, some of the male priests decided they needed a translator because some people came and got their answer but didn't understand the answer, and they didn't want that to happen again. So priests would be there and available in case you didn't understand the oracle's answer, then a male priest would translate for you. And that's how the male priests were used in the temple. So they were never oracles, but they would support the translation process. And you can imagine that might have been misused from time to time. All right, so let's get back to Delphi continued to be powerful. It continued to be independent. I've got pictures of it over on the table over there that I've laminated that you can see what it looks like today, an estimate of what it looked like before it was destroyed 1,000 years after Apollo took over, and that was about 390 AD. So it was only about 1,700 years ago that it stopped functioning. So this oracle was around for a couple thousand years, and around the same time, I want to talk about sirens now. Around the same time, according to Homer's Odyssey, Ulysses was traveling for 20 years, going on an odyssey around this entire area, and he ran into some sirens. Now, sirens were a tribe of bird women who had wings, not unlike the Melissa that I just told you about, the bee priestesses. And so they're flying around, and the thing about them was they were alluring, not because they were beautiful, not because their voices were beautiful, but because they spoke the truth. So you didn't have to go all the way to Delphi to get the truth. You could just go see the sirens, and they would always speak the truth. They could see the truth, and they could speak it, and they did. And they usually did it in song. So you can imagine that's a little alluring if you want to know the truth about something. If you're not sure what's real here, you could ask the sirens. So Ulysses tied himself to his ship's mast so that he could hear the answers to the questions that he was asking the sirens as they came, but he didn't get swept away by them because he had been told that somehow they would lure you to your death or lure your ship to be crashing on rocks or something like that. I have a funny feeling that that wasn't their motive. I have a funny feeling that was a later rendition of how do we keep people from going and getting the truth. So that's just me. But what I wanted to tell you about the sirens is that it was in medieval times then that the Catholic Church decided that the truth being known from inside of us, as if we don't have to go through a priest, we don't have to go through a pope, that's gnosis. That's a little too independent. So we're going to say that they're evil. We're going to say sirens are evil. The oracle was annihilated by the Romans because of Christianity. It was pagan. And so all of Delphi was, just laid waste in 390. And so the masculine domination culture started to diminish all of the paganism, which usually was a feminine culture. And so we've got a heavy-handed masculine coming in to wipe out the feminine. And part of that feminine was to empower each other to actually find the gnosis, find the truth from inside of us. And I'm not saying this as a general thing that, men are all dominating. They're not. And I'm not saying it that everybody's like Apollo. I'm just saying that there's some feminine wisdom that has been stomped out over the years and that we could bring it back. And that's what's exciting to me about these stories, is to remember that they were around and revered for thousands of years before they were attacked, because they were so powerful, because the truth is so powerful, because we each have access to the truth, because we're all oracles, because we all have the divine channel going through us, because we can remember how to do that. And so that's one of the things I'm going to invite us to drop into today in just a moment. But before we get there, I want to tell you a little bit about mermaids in the old days. Similarly, they have been incredibly helpful to humanity. They're, of all the stories of mermaids in humanity, most of them are incredibly helpful. Mermaids are super generous, super prosperous, and offer us the arts and humanities since Mesopotamian times. But because of this medieval church fear, they too were Satanized and villainized, and it wasn't okay to hang out with mermaids. They became these seductresses who would lure you to your death or something like that. And that typically wasn't the case. I'm not saying all mermaids were perfect. I'm just saying it wasn't probably the case. That doesn't seem to be the pattern of mermaids. So these stories obviously remind us why mermaids might be hiding out right now, why it's not safe to come out as a mermaid. If you look at the mermaid in Copenhagen, I don't know if you know the story of the little mermaid in Copenhagen. They have this beautiful statue there, and it has constantly been villainized. It has been blown up. Her head's been cut off 3 times. It's like she's the target of all of this terrorism constantly. And it's just a really interesting metaphor for how safe do I feel coming out as a mer lawyer? You know, I tell my clients, hey, you should know I'm your lawyer, but I'm also a mermaid. So you get the magical part too. I'm coming full authentically here with you now. And so can you come to me with, oh, you're a unicorn. Oh, you're a fairy. Oh, you've had a past life. Oh, how interesting. Let's bring all of us to the table, because that makes life richer in my mind. Cutting us off from the past because of fear of persecution, I think for thousands of years, is why so many of us stay in the closet. So if we start to step out, just last week I shared a story like this with a woman, and she said, you know, since you told me that story, I was able to come out as not just a therapist, like everybody knows I'm a therapist, but I was able to tell them this specialization that I have, and I feel more confident being who I really am, because if you can be a mermaid and a lawyer at the same time, I can be anything. I'm like, yeah, that's the point. That's why we're here. So if we can do that and protect each other and be the dragons for each other that protect each other and say this is a safe place to be fully in whoever you are, bring it. That's why we're here. So given that we're all oracles, there is one other little thing about mermaids. You notice they always carry a mirror. And the connection to Delphi is that the gateway that you must pass through to get into Delphi, it says, know thyself. And that's really a powerful thing to think about. Mermaids had mirrors because they could self-reflect. They could look into their own eyes, look into their own souls, and say, who am I in truth? And they could reflect back to the world, what's true, what's real. So having a mirror and being willing to self-reflect and getting to that core truth and knowing thyself was the key to all of this oracular wisdom that they were reaching for. Because if I'm trying to be an oracle and I don't know that my ego's in the way, and I don't have priestesses reflecting that back to me, I might say something that's not coming from the divine. So learning how to differentiate between my ego, myself, that part of myself, and my larger ability to channel divine wisdom, that's a big difference. And only in knowing ourselves can we do that. And only by being mirrors for each other can we learn the difference between who we really are and who we appear to be in our personalities, in our little personalities. So that's why I like to play an archetype, because that's a bigger part of ourselves that we might not have met yet. And I always recommend people try to get in touch with the parts of themselves they might not have met yet. So now we get to have the fun part. I'm going to pass around an essential oil, because as a bathing priestess, thousands of years we've used essential oils to raise frequency and to take us to other heightened states of being. So I'm going to pass around one that was made, it's called New Reality, and this is made with some of the best oils on the planet by a tree elf that's a friend of mine. And I'm going to pass this around for you to enjoy. It doesn't have a stopper on it because it wasn't working, so you'll just have to be really careful to just use your finger. You don't need much. Okay, so as that goes around, I'm going to invite us to become the oracle that we are. We're already an oracle, but it might be fun to test it out. Instead of coming into the oracle as if we're stepping in through the Delphi gate of know thyself with a specific question like, should I go to war with the king? Let us just be open to the question perhaps of, what would the universe want me to know right now? So and if the universe isn't the right word for you, maybe the word for you is God, maybe it's source, maybe it's Yahweh, maybe it's divine, whatever you use for your word for all that is us and we are. The big Akua, as you spoke, Akua is the Hawaiian word for God. Let's ask the universe, unless you have a specific question in mind and it's just burning inside of you, then you should listen to that. But just generally, what would God or divine want us to know right now if we were to stop long enough and just listen? And it's going to be different for everyone, just like all of your first answers were different when we first began this. And I think part of the ha'a piece for me that has to be there in order to do this, the humility, is recognizing that I don't have the whole truth. I'm just seeing one lens of what is. And each individual uniquely is looking through a particular lens at the universe, and we're all trying to know thyself. If we are all source, we're all particularly looking through a lens that's really valuable because only you have that unique lens. And I love the idea that I am limited. Well, none of us are limited in a holographic way, but I'm limited to my lens for a reason, right? I'm coming in as a white woman, you know, here I am in Hawaii and educated in these things that we say about ourselves. That gives me a particular lens. But each of us has that, and each of us has a particular viewpoint and perspective from the divine that all comes together like puzzle pieces to me. So it's exciting to me to get to know each being and say, what is the truth from your lens? What is the truth from your lens? What is the truth from your lens? And then maybe, if I'm humble enough, I can actually put it together and say, now I have a bigger understanding of what we're here doing and who we are and why. So I'm going to invite us to just get comfortable in our chairs and have however you like to be comfortable when you're inviting the divine to come in to your body. Not just your physical body, but your bigger body, you know, your etheric body. And my name Vyana actually means aura, or that energetic light form around us, around all of us. And we're just going to get quiet, and we're just going to go inside and apply the word that you said earlier, whether it was listen, or whether it was love, or whether it was intuition or intention. There were some really key words that you brought through already. And just be with that word, but the key is to empty out, to get the chatter to dissolve. And you all have practiced this, I'm sure, in meditation. It requires us to slow down. It requires us to let go. It requires us to have ha-ah, and laugh at any funny thoughts that might be coming through, and not try to hold on and not try to accomplish anything, but to simply empty. And as we empty, then we might feel a divine impulse. We might see a picture, a color, a smell. We'll see what happens. But I'm just going to be quiet for a few moments and let all of us go to that know thyself in your inner oracle and listen to your own divine source. To the question, or the answer to the question, what would the divine want me to know right now? And when you feel that you have the answer, just gently open your eyes. And if anyone would like to share what came through for them, I'll pass the microphone around. You don't have to get out of your seat. If there's something that you would like to share, my answer that came through was, it is well with my soul. So that even if it looks all stormy on the surface, I remember that it is well with my soul. See it? Yeah. Have to get the tech guy to help you out there.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah.
It would want me to know that the truth really is true and that I really am one with everything.
Thank you. Great.
I'm enough.
You're enough. Hallelujah. Thank you. That's huge.
I asked about what is love, and what I got was it is the glue that holds everything together.
Beautiful.
All form.
Thank you. Wow.
My word was intuition, and I asked about that. And the answer I got was, be still and know, and that myself and every being on the planet is loved beyond human comprehension.
Wow. Thank you.
The answer to the question was a question, and the question is, what if nothing is wrong?
Wow. That's great. What if nothing is wrong? I'm going to grab it from you. Yeah, thank you. Anybody else want to share their oracular wisdom?
So I recently moved here, and I got that I am home.
Welcome home. That's exciting.
I am a capable holy being who has spent a lifetime listening to the wind.
Ooh. Wow.
Kathy, and I'm actually overwhelmed right now, and that was my word.
Overwhelmed.
And and what I'm hearing is to show up, pay attention, speak your truth, and do not be attached to the outcome.
Beautiful. Thank you. Oh, great. Yeah.
I also got I'm enough and I'm amazing.
Wow. Take it further. Beautiful.
Shelba and trust the process.
Wow. Good one. Yeah.
I started off with, I'm doing my best, and came up with, yeah, but better's coming.
Better is coming?
Yeah.
Nice.
What my best now
Nice.
will be better
Wow.
sometime.
Great. Anyone else want to share what came through for them? Nope. Okay. Everybody got a chance? Okay. Well, okay, great. So we still have a couple more minutes. So I wrote, knowing ourselves, listening for divine wisdom to bubble up from within, from the ancient waters of our own memnos, and sing it out. The truth is much needed today as it has always been. Become the oracle that you are and share your wisdom with the world. And we all carry that. We all carry a piece of the puzzle, and to keep it just to ourselves would not benefit the rest of us. So our particular piece of this puzzle is needed for the whole to see the truth. So please don't be shy about bringing your whole truth. And I'm speaking to myself as well. Sometimes we don't even want to hear the truth. And that's why I started with that first question. What would make my heart more open to even hear the truth if it was spoken to me, or if it was gifted to me, in whatever way that is? With these last couple of minutes, if we as a group, knowing what we know about our world and planet at this time, had a question for the oracle, what would that question be? And I think preparing our question for the oracle might, from a past remembrance, might be the most important part of the process, is actually preparing the question. Does anyone have a question for the oracle? Yes. When will it end? And when will it start all over again? When it ends. And so do you have a specific topic about what is ending? What are you talking about ending? Life. Oh, the sixth extinction on the planet Earth. Interesting. So just listening, let's just drop in for a second, each of us, and just close our eyes and listen to whether there's an obvious answer that just comes through you, or whether there's a way that you want to rewrite the question, Um, Did anyone get a hit on? Yes, please. Here, let me give you the, yeah. Thank you. Oh, can we turn that back on? Thank you.
You can also just, oh, okay. I got, it doesn't end. It just keeps going and going and going. It's infinite.
Beautiful. Thank you. The oracle has spoken. What? Enjoy the journey. It doesn't end. Love it.
It's such an individual path, unique to all of us. So one's beginning is somebody else's end, and there is no specific date, time, answer to that because it's your own journey.
Thank you. Beautiful.
So I asked, when is the new timeline? And it says it's now.
The new timeline. We're setting it now. Fabulous. Ooh, like how we turned that one around. Yay. Yes, yes, yes. Did you have one too? Oh, repeat it for you? The life never ends? Oh, it's right. So life never ends because it doesn't depend on physicality. Exactly. Love that. Yes, Kathy.
It's okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end.
I love that. That reminds me of the Marigold Hotel, right? Yeah, that was great. Anyone else want to share wisdom for today? You have the rest of your lives to do this too, but I recommend we step more fully into our oracles for each other. Somebody, yes.
Here, the feminine is very strong for a reason. For a reason. And you've kind of shared the reason that we're strong for the feminine. And all the masculine people have to get along with the feminine people. Get along. Can't we just all get along?
Thank you. And may the masculine in me love the feminine and vice versa.
And love rather than hate. Hate is non-productive. Destroy. Love.
Thank you. Beautiful. Love builds. It's all yours, my dear. Thank you. Yes. Oh, there's one more. Oh, goody. Yes, you haven't shared yet. Out of time. Okay. Last one.
We're the ones we've been waiting for.
Oh, I love it. Yes.
And there's only this moment because time is an illusion.
Oh, I love that. And there's only one of us here. 2 microphones, but one of us. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I'm really grateful for your wisdom. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Vyana.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay. It's a lovely thing to share our wisdom with and our knowledge and our beingness with each other.
Yes.
That is a big part, in my opinion, why we're all here when we're not on our own separate planet, each of us. We're here for each other. Okay, well, it's time for some beautiful music and to pass the koa bowl. I know you all love coming here, and we appreciate whether it's love or the green stuff you want to put in the bowl. It's a beautiful thing to have this community available to us every Sunday and any day of the week. Because I don't know about you all, but if I had an issue like I had 2 weeks ago, people were supportive and loving and caring and compassionate without my asking. So our awareness goes way beyond our aura because we're hopefully all listening and watching, and we're aware and awake. Thank you for that. Those are beautiful human qualities. Thank you, Vibhoda.
Thank you. Kona moon shining so bright, smiling at me right out of the sky. Heard you whispering wonderful words of love, promising we'll never part. Kona moon,
Anybody wants to hula, come on.
She knows it all, so why deny? Your kiss is so sweet. Kona moon shining so bright, smiling at me right out of the sky. Heard you whispering wonderful words of love, promising we'll never part. Kona moon, she knows it all, so why deny? Your kiss is so sweet. Kona moon shining so bright, smiling at me right out of the sky. Oh, I heard you whispering wonderful words of love, promising we'll never part. Kona moon, listen now. She knows it all, so why deny? Your kiss is so sweet, so why deny? Your kiss is so sweet.
Oh, that was beautiful. Thank you, Viboda. And thank you, Lynn, for being spontaneous. So nice to have a hula along with that gorgeous music. Thank you, Stephen. All right. Well, we've been having lots of fun today, haven't we? Woo-hoo! It's time for announcements. So, coming up at New Thought Center of Hawaii, obviously every Sunday at 10 a.m. here. Oh, I'm sorry. Speaker first? Share. No.
Please.
Thank you for
Thank
the
you. All right. Thank you. So I wanted to share that I am also a children's book writer, author, and I brought one of them with me, and I'll be May 6th at Words and Wine at Kona Stories. If you've never been on a Tuesday night, once a month at Kona Stories, the bookstore here, they serve you wine and food, and then 3 local authors get to share about their books. And so I'll be performing probably both of my books, and they're really magical children's books. One is about dolphins and what I learned from them here on the island, and then the other one is about how to grant wishes and what I learned from a dandelion. So please join me. It will be fun and delicious, and that's May 6th. I think it's about 6 o'clock at Kona Stories in town. Oh, Keaho. Keaho in town. In Keaho, yeah. Thank you. Yes. That's it. That's all I want to say.
Thank you, Vyana. Thank you for reminding me too. You go first. Pardon me. So obviously we're here on Sundays at 10 in person and live stream. Hello, everybody out there. Hopefully you've been enjoying this wonderful day as well. Also, any of us can visit the videos on YouTube afterwards to any day that we want to go back and revisit and re-experience, or maybe it's one we missed. So we also offer free childcare. We just ask that we be announced or be asked for the reservation by Friday so we can prepare and have someone available. The next 3 Sundays, 4:13, Jinan Wang, Tai Chi Tao, flowing into the present moment of being. Music by Shauna Bradfield. 4:20, which is Easter, Craig Villarubia, Unveil the Secret to Happiness, Forgiveness as a Means to Everything You Want. Music by Colleen Yost. 4:27, Woody Plout, Amazing Torah Story. Music by Woody and Aviva Plout. We have weekly classes here. Monday, 4:30 to 5:30, Jinan Wang teaches Tai Chi and Qigong. It's $15. If you come at 4, you can learn the long form. Monthly events, Crystal Bowl Meditation, 9 to 9:30 on the second Sunday. That's next week. Last time we had a full room, so I'm hoping we'll have a full room next Sunday as well. It's really enjoyable if anyone wants to show up earlier. And then, of course, just come to service. The next one is 4:13. At the end of the month, on our last Sunday of the month, we have a potluck. It's here on the lanai after service. And that next event is on 4/27. Special events. Thursday, April 10th at 3 p.m. Celebration of Life for Virginia Halliday, founding member of the Religious Church of Science, which grew into New Thought. Old Airport, large pavilion. That's, does it say time? Yes, 3 o'clock, Thursday, April 10th at 3 o'clock. And then Saturday, April 19th, Mariaman, LifeWave. It's the third of 4 monthly workshops in the Honua room right here, and it goes from 1 to 5 p.m. It's $50, and I've been attending, actually facilitating, and I think this will be my 5th one. And I have to tell you, I've never done anything shamanic journeying before, and it is magical. So I highly suggest, if you haven't tried it, come on out. It's magical. Journeying is really fun. We have an invitation weekly, or anytime during the week, and that is if you have prayer requests or you know someone else that has one, we have a prayer ministry here. Written requests can go in the wooden Honua box right over there on the table, and they are prayed on for a week. You can also email those requests in at any time you like. And if the prayer is for someone else, all we ask is that you have that person's permission. If you want to be on our mailing list, that's real easy. You just sign the guest book over here on the table if you haven't already done so, because then you get your weekly e-newsletter, or you can sign up via the website. Also, our tradition here is to take our speaker to lunch. I'm curious how many people might want to go today. We're going to go, excuse me, I should say that first, right? We're going to go to Corner Pocket, which is just down the street and down the hill. Corner Pocket. So how many hands I want to see? How many of you might, we can kind of get a table there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, around 10, 11, 12 people. So I'm going to suggest, because several of us who are on the board and who help here at breaking everything down, we can't get there right away. So if someone who is the first to arrive, if you would arrange a table of 10 to 12 people so that we can all sit together, that would be lovely. All right? Yes.
April 26th is Saturday at 4:30 in the afternoon. April 26th, Saturday at 4:30 in the afternoon in Waimea at the Kahilu Theater. My daughter's going to be in a ballet. We'd love to have you come and enjoy this ballet, and it's actually The Wizard of Oz, which I have never seen, so it should be exciting. I don't. She does. Oh, okay. She's a village person. No.
You say the Lizard of Oz?
In the Emerald City.
The Lizard of Oz?
The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, I thought she said the Lizard of Oz.
So my announcement is that the Moana Community Garden down by Rodeo Grounds in Honau now, for those of you who know where that is, has just put up the registration for their emu for Easter. So I usually take food in on Thanksgiving, Christmas, and if we're here Easter, and it's really nice. They ask for a donation of about $40 because it helps keep the garden going. But you can take your pan with your meat or whatever else you want to put in the emu, have it cooked the night before Easter, take it in the afternoon, pick it up the next morning between 8 and 10.
Never knew. Wonder. Thank you for the announcements. Okay, it's time for our song. Let's gather in a beautiful circle. Oh, and there's free goodies in the back, so if anybody wants to take anything home produce-wise, help yourself.
Are you unplugged? All right. Hi.
Oh, no. And you never answered any of my texts.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I have been so, like, just survival mode.
I wanted to gift you X39,
Oh,
not
I
have you
know.
buy
Oh.
No, 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 no. I know. I have a lot of. Yeah, I have that, and I also had the light, ice wave.
Okay.
And I also had energy. So yeah, so I used those.
That X39 is the one that everybody
Well,
hang out of here.
yeah. Well, I guess I just was. I don't know. I was just. I'll tell you, it's
But
been.
you did, okay. But
Yeah,
you
yeah.
took care of yourself.
Yeah. And it
And
was
there's
just a long, funky thing. Whatever we had, he's still getting his energy back.
I gotta tell you, how many eons do you have left?
I've got a whole packet that I haven't even opened. Well, and then I have some more. Because I have a whole packet I haven't even opened yet. Because I got quite a few.
Okay, well, they're having a special right now.
Okay.
And what they're doing is they're promoting either 3 months worth or 6 months worth. They call it maintenance packs.
Okay.
So, like, you could get 3 months worth of X39. You get them all at once. You don't have to pay the shipping. So you save almost, I think it's $80.
Wow.
And my sponsor, your upline, you don't know, Peter, is for anyone that buys a 3-month maintenance pack, he's giving you a free supportive sleep. So that could be another eon for you.
Wow. Wow.
Or it could be something else. Like
Wow.
It could be energy enhancer.
Okay.
Or ice wave or whatever.
Okay.
That goes with the
Okay.
package. And if you get a 6-month one, then he gives a free extra.
Okay.
So
Okay.
up to you, but
So-
we have to do it at a certain
By
time frame.
Okay.
And I think I didn't see like it's today or then the first week in May. So
Either today or the first week in May.
yeah, today's the last day. I think today's the last day of this first cycle. And then,
Oh, okay.
So you're doing it once a month for a week.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So
Okay.
let me know if you
Okay.
want
Okay.
to.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
hook you up with that so
Okay.
you can get that.
Hello.
You're beautiful.
And I'm glad to hear that you're feeling
Oh,
better.
thank
I didn't
you.
hear anything before that, but
Yeah. Thank you.
So you went to India?
I went to India with Pasha and Bob Kindler's Buddhist group. It was quite an adventure.
I know, and you
Yeah.
guys just kind of barely touched
Yeah,
on
we
it
just
in your
barely.
talks,
Yeah, we did
and
do a
I
talk.
was like,
You can see we talked about it. Yeah. Yeah, and you were. Where were you? Where you were doing something from a train recently?
Oh, I went to Japan with a friend and our 2 sons.
Oh, wow.
It was really fun. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Took
And
him
my
on our
daughter
spring
is
break.
learning Japanese.
Oh, wow.
She wants to go there. That's been her goal for years.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
So she's speaking it.
Well, she's